Lisbon is one of the most stunning and multicultural cities in all of Europe. But did you know that Lisbon wasn't always the capital of Portugal? Coimbra was designed as the nation's second capital and held that position for a century before Lisbon took over. Today, the city is one of the top destinations for book lovers and is home to some stunning churches and bridges. Drop a comment if you've ever visited or would like to visit this gorgeous city as we delve into our top guide on the top 10 places to visit in Lisbon, Portugal. Number 10. Se, Lisbon's imposing cathedral. Located in the city's Castelo neighborhood, close to the historic Alfama neighborhood, the Se Cathedral has been intertwined with Portugal's early history since the 12th century, when it served as a witness to the births, marriages, and deaths of Portugal's nobility and elite. Going to the Lisbon Cathedral is like taking an 800-year history tour. This church, which has been around for more than 800 years, is the most significant and historic one in Lisbon. This structure has an indisputable historical, architectural, theological, and spiritual value. Thus, it is worthwhile to explore every inch of it. The Gothic cloister is also worth spending some time in, not so much for its collection of chapels, but rather because local excavations have uncovered the remains of Roman and Moorish homes. The cathedral was constructed over the ruins of a mosque. Needless to say, the archaeological dig is a worthwhile tourist destination in and of itself. Number 9. Elevador de Santagusta, an antique elevator with city views. This elevator was designed by French architect Raoul Meunier de Ponsard, a student of Gustave Eiffel, and opened in 1901. At first glance, its riveted wrought iron frame and battleship gray paint evoke images of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Elevador de Santagusta was constructed to link the Baxia with the Largo do Carmo in the fashionable neighborhood of Barrio Alto, which is home to upscale stores, fado houses, and indie eateries. The 32-meter journey to the top is now made by curious visitors rather than commuters who ride in wood-paneled cabins that still have the original polished brass instruments. Just below the top terrace, the cabins squeak their way to a platform. From here, passengers have two options. They either exit and cross a bridge into Barrio Alto on foot, or they can choose to ascend the spiraled staircase to the top terrace. The excellent views from the top encompass a bustling metropolitan landscape with pedestrianized streets, charming squares, the ever-present castle, and the river Tagus. A beautiful view of the adjacent Igreja do Carmo is also available. Throughout the summer, expect long lines. Number 8. Museo Nacional do Azulejo. The National Tile Museum, which is somewhat off the beaten tourist path east of the city center, is worth seeing for its distinctive collection of azulejos, decorative tiles, and the lavishly ornate Igreja Madre de Deus. This museum is the only one in Portugal devoted to this ancient art style, and it is housed inside the chapel and cloisters of the Convento de Madre de Deus. The ongoing exhibit charts the development of tile production from the time of the Moors through Spanish influence in the formation of Portugal's unique style. Some of the earliest examples, which are shown chronologically, are entire panels with elaborate patterns in vibrant colors that date back to the 15th century. The Madre de Deus church from the 16th century is accessible with museum admission. Visitors are treated to one of the most flamboyant and ornamental church interiors in all of Portugal at this location. A lavish Baroque display of gilded woodwork, glistening azulejos from the 17th century, and a beautiful Rococo altarpiece. Number 7. Torre de Belm, a historic tower. The Belm Tower, which stands in the shallows near the entrance of the river Tagus, as a representation of Portugal's remarkable age of discovery in the 16th century, is arguably the most representative of all of Lisbon's historical landmarks. Its elaborate facade is decorated with fantastic maritime elements, including twisted rope and stone armillary spheres. The king's chamber on the second floor, which opens onto a Renaissance loggia, is the most intriguing interior element of the building, which is spread across several levels. Above the graceful arches is the royal coat of arms of Manuel I. You are rewarded with a beautiful view of the river and the waterfront esplanade when you ascend the incredibly steep spiral staircase to the top floor tower deck. It's definitely worth a trip. Number 6. Museo de Oriente. Museo de Oriente houses a magnificent collection of Oriental art amassed by the influential Fundação Oriente. The two-level permanent display is organized around several important aspects of Eastern art. especially Chinese art. The collection transports you on an amazing journey that traces the cultural and trade ties formed between Portugal and India, Japan, Myanmar, Macau, and Timor. On the first floor, you are greeted by a massive 17th century teak door from India that has been ornately decorated with iron and bronze. In another area, a dazzling collection of Chinese terracotta figures from the Ming and Qing dynasties is exhibited next to a terrifying suit of samurai chainmail armor from the 17th century. However, make it a point to look for smaller goods, such as the amusing assortment of Chinese snuff boxes and the silver alloy bracelets from Timor. If you visit the Orient Museum in the middle of the morning, you can pause for lunch in the restaurant on the 5th floor and relive the experience. Number 5. Sintra. Sintra is a civil parish in the Portuguese municipality of Sintra, which is part of the Lisbon District. A direct 40-minute train ride from the city center takes you to the incredibly lovely town of Sintra, which is arguably one of the most rewarding day trip experiences from Lisbon. This captivating location unfolds a picturesque picture book of regal royal palaces, enigmatic houses, and a powerful Moorish fortress dating from the 8th century, nestled in the foothills of the rough Serra de Sintra, a rolling terrain of verdant woodland dotted with outcrops of granite. It's easy to understand why Sintra is regarded as a must-see on any trip to Portugal. It is one of the most intriguing destinations to visit because it is home to numerous beautiful and distinctive castles. Number 4. Lisboa Story Center. If you're new to Lisbon, this is one of the first sites you should visit since there's no better way to learn about the city's history than at this beautiful interactive cultural center on Praça do Comércio. The Fun for the Whole Family facility is divided into 6 sections, each of which is devoted to a specific era or chapter in the history of the city. Each location is brought to life through the clever use of multimedia technology, with some spaces even resembling movie sets. The use of conversation and narration heightens the impression of realism. Models, artwork, and photographs all contribute to the overall picture of Lisbon in the past. But it's the 4D earthquake video that brings history to life for you. The calamity develops in a room that trembles, and the entire episode is dreadfully realistic. You'll learn about the legends and facts surrounding the historic city, and experience the ambience of the 16th. Number 3. Oceana de Lisboa, a modern aquarium. In addition to its enviable status as one of Portugal's most well-liked tourist destinations, the Oceana de Lisboa actively promotes ocean conservation and has won accolades for its marine environmental awareness programs across the globe. But above all, it's a lot of fun. The Peter Chermayeff-designed Oceanarium, which was constructed for the Expo 98 World Exposition at what is now known as Parque das Nações, is home to an astounding variety of fish and marine animals, including dozens of different kinds of birds. The clever design depicts 4 distinct seascapes and habitats, or to put it another way, the habitats of the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Antarctic Oceans. These encircle a big center tank that is full of fish of all colors, sizes, and shapes, including graceful rays, bulbous sunfish, and sleek sharks, which are all the children's favorite deep-sea creatures. The Lisbon Aquarium is truly a sight to behold, and a must-see for everybody who loves marine life and ocean preservation. Number 2. Mosteiro dos Geronimos, built in honor of Portugal's Age of Discovery. One of Portugal's most famous structures, the 16th century Geronimos Monastery, is a highlight of any sightseeing trip to Lisbon. It is a gorgeous structure with enormous historical and cultural significance that is befitting of its designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The monastery, also known as the Geronimite Convent, was built in 1501 by King Emmanuel I of Portugal, close to the waterfront in Lisbon's lovely Belm neighborhood. It is also worthwhile to check out the park and fountain across the street from the monastery. They're breathtaking. Number 1. Castelo de São Jorge, an iconic landmark. The most famous of Lisbon's major attractions, St. George's Castle, is situated near Alfama on top of a hill overlooking the Portuguese capital in a magnificent location. The castle offers a rewarding experience for the whole family, thanks to its impressive battlements, interesting museum, and fascinating archaeological site. Children in particular will enjoy scaling the sturdy walls and towers that encircle the grounds. This palace has been a fortress since the Iron Age, but also was a castle that the Moors held against invaders invading Christian troops before being taken by Alfonso Enriquez in 1147. You'll find that a camera obscura periscope, located in one of the buildings, offers visitors a remarkable 360-degree projected picture of the city below from a different angle. Which of these top places will you be visiting first? Tell us in the comments below.